was the pain, Jameis?
Yeah, just pain. It was pain everywhere. So we got to keep on pushing through and being resilient.
Saquon Barkley. I swear, Saquon Barkley is the best. Right? We survived the Giants, and now the Eagles got Saquon Barkley. Lord have mercy, man.
Ball and lines it down the field. Caught by Cribbs at the 8-yard line, up the middle 10. He's to the 20. He's to the 25, 30, 35, 40. He's down the sideline, 50. I think he's going to go. He's to the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Joshua Cribbs.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Report. Week 3's in the drain. We're going to go over some recaps and some first thoughts I had of last weekend. Hopefully everyone had a good time playing. I went lighter than I normally would. I don't like slates like that, and I felt less confident of the unknowns of that slate. And they presented themselves very finely with the 9 million defensive touchdowns this previous Sunday. Absolutely, if you didn't have the Vikings, you were pretty much cooked. When a defense puts up more than 20, it's hard to recover. So I knew most of my lineups were dead. Geno stacks, actually, Geno done awesome, phenomenal, just not to the right players. I know we talked about him in my 5% under 5, my 5 under 5 videos. But Geno was one of my main plays this week. Didn't get I had 2 lineups with Geno, plus Trey Tucker, plus Jacoby Myers. And those were full out on slot stacks. Mix in Brock Bowers where you may with that. Those didn't do terribly, but I really did not put up a good score this week. I think my best score was like a 178, I think. And that was a Jalen Hurts stack lineup with A.J. Brown. We knew Hurts could definitely get it done. He really, though, did not perform that great until the fourth quarter. And it was just a weird slate overall. Carson Wentz is still dust, and I will die by that. Put them against a real defense in a real back and forth game, and Carson Wentz wheels will fall off. So that was exciting. Houston and Jags and Texans. I didn't really have much in this game. I played a little Nico Collins, nothing else. I had the Jags defense actually a good amount. Which they did fine, but they only scored 9 points. So it wasn't awesome this week. We could put a Vikings in there and we could have really boosted that, but that's DFS, man. I don't want everyone to get down. It's week 4. Last week we had a pretty good week. This week 4, week 3 was kind of trash, and that's the way it goes in DFS. When you're on, you're on, and when you're off, you're off. So, don't get down on yourselves if you guys really got cooked because it was very likely on the slate because there were so many unknowns. You had Jordan Mason at 34% in a gotta have it situation, scored 28, and I'm a dummy because I had 0. I absolutely faded Jordan Mason, so I will take my licks there. That was absolutely dumb of me. I thought I could get different, and I got too cute. I didn't have to get totally different on a low-scoring slate. I figured it would be low-scoring, though. I had around that, I think I said 210 to 220 was again my range this week. And I think, 225 that took it down. 212 took it down in the millie. So yeah, there you go. 212 done it. I don't know. I was thinking 225. That was a lot. Yeah, but anyways, it was that's not right. It was 225. There's no way this stack right here is just no way, no shot. How is that? I could have swore the guy took it down was at a 232. So Fantasy Labs, I think your scoring's off here or something because this is not entirely correct. I think it was I guess I'm just going to pull up on my phone, but I'm pretty sure it was 231. I think I want to say 231 took down the millie this week. Really awesome score. Definitely had the Minnesota Vikings in that. I'm sure the guy did. Just a week. Really an off week, guys. So, don't take it, ultra personal this week. 231. Yeah, I knew it was because this guy had a Geno, Jonathan Taylor, Jordan Mason, Ricky Pearsall, which was a low owned. It was at 10%. Really awesome play there. I actually got on him late. Wasn't able to get him enough lineups that I wanted to because literally I read the news at 12:30. 12:20. So I got him in a few lineups, but not near as enough. Trey Tucker absolutely had to have it. to win that millie at 3,400 and 0.5% of an ownership. I know we mentioned Geno and like this game being a game environment we want to attack, and I hate when that happens because you're on the game, you're just not on that player. You know what I mean? Like 3 touchdowns from Trey Tucker. Come on, 3 touchdowns, 145, 8 receptions. So is he a play this week? I don't know. I don't know if I'm buying that hype completely, but Geno will sling it. So that's one thing. I mean, he's kind of that JMO type build. It feels like now he's like just slinging it, getting around. Brock Bowers is interesting at 5,800. I've seen that. But we'll go ahead and keep going through these. Arizona, he had McCaffrey in this lineup at $8,200, 25% ownership on McCaffrey. And McCaffrey's priced up this week, so I'm not going to be good. I keep on fading McCaffrey, and eventually it's going to work out in my favor. Week 2 definitely did, but week 3 here, McCaffrey's priced up significantly, and there's some lower price, all-stars there that can really just absolutely wreck a slate. And I have a good feeling this week, so I will be unloading the guns this week. We'll see, depending on ownership, and see if I can get any leverage that I like. But yeah, we had McCaffrey and, of course, Vikings in that. This guy had Brock Bowers in the winning lineup in the millie on DK. So, I wasn't wrong on my Brock Bowers play. But he had DK Metcalf. I was high on DK Metcalf as well. But I mean, DK didn't literally. This guy didn't score any points. Like not like you would think. Like a 26 from Geno's, like that's really good because Geno was 5,200. Yeah, 5,200, 1% ownership. Like those are the type of plays you want. And I was heavy on Geno. I really like Darnold. I really liked Rodgers. Rodgers let us down. Let's check that Steelers stats. It just like the fourth quarter, just like or the third to fourth quarter, like absolutely was a train wreck after halftime. Drake May. I'm not in on that. He had an awesome score. He had 21 fantasy points, but Rodgers threw 2 touchdowns and 139 yards. Jalen Warren got robbed from Kenny Gainwell. And we had a Calvin Austin. I was high on Calvin Austin this week. Not a great score, but I mean, I think he was like 30 or 4. He might have been 4. He might have been 4K right there at that range. I love Jonnu. Just didn't pan out. 3 for 23 and no touchdown. Like you got to have it from Jonnu. You got to, I was hoping to get a touchdown this week. I was high on it. I like the matchup against the Patriots. I figured this game could shoot out with no defense from the Patriots side, but it doesn't seem to me like this offense is going to be high exploding, right? I mean, it's week 1 you had it, but since then not really. So I was missed there on my Rodgers. I was over heavy on Rodgers. But you live and you learn. We had Jonathan Taylor in the player pool, of course. That was kind of a no-brainer this week. Might ride that until the wheels fall off, guys, if I'm being honest, until he gets hurt. Knock on wood, I have him fantasy. But JT 28, just an awesome game. 3 touchdowns, 100 yards. Like that's what you want out of a 7,200. Like he's 78 this week. So, but he swapped 1A, 1B with a guy that I think could wreck a slate single-handedly in a gotta-have-it situation. And I think he'll be low-owned again. He was this week. Where was he at? Yeah, I don't have him in this lineup. But, yeah, so that's kind of the millie maker. This isn't right. Fantasy Labs 212 did not take down this millie. I don't know where we're getting this from. Yeah, this isn't making sense to me. If we flip here, though, we go to I was wanting to see that 555 again. Also, there was 13 games on the slate, which is wild enough, right? 13. I mean, 13 teams on the slate, not 13 games, but 13 teams. Just 13 different directions this thing could go, and you got to nail it. So don't get down on yourself. Just an all-around weird week in the NFL. A lot of injuries. Who was the main one? Mike Evans got hurt in that Jets game. What a game that was. Broncos Chargers. I caught the tail end of it. Pretty good game from what I've seen, but kind of sloppier offensive play from the Chargers. Really not wanting to get it done. Like not what you expect. Packers Browns. Browns absolutely defense. I knew they were legit, and they've solidified that for me. Packers defense, Browns defense, those are good plays every week. Of course, they're going to be highly owned and expensive, but nonetheless, Falcons Panthers. I had a lot of Falcons. It absolutely ate me again. I was high on Bijan. I figured he would be less owned than he was, but he really wasn't. Yeah, that was another game I was on. Now, the game I was most significantly on, I wasn't on that Cowboys Bears game. I could have played Caleb Williams another week. He scored me 17 in week 2, and just aggravating. But luckily, I had golf that week. But um, I didn't want to play him again after he burnt me like that, and I know it was stupid. Anytime you get a low, I mean, he really wasn't that heavy owned. I think he's like 10% or 11. He finished out at, so nothing crazy. Caleb Williams in play every week fantasy. That Ben Johnson offense, I like to take stabs at, and I don't mind that at all. If we peek here, anything else really? Last night was absolutely crazy. Ravens Lions. That was an awesome game. Didn't really do anything. Also, if you guys had um, troubles uploading lineups onto DK, um, I got it squared away. I was kind of angry for a while because I went heavy this slate. Um, I played a couple 150 maxers, and you know, I was super heavy, had a lot of lineups. Of course, none of them would have hit, so I'm kind of glad they, didn't go through. But I'm still kind of angry that if a winning lineup was there, I would be absolutely in shambles because that was, I mean, it said successfully uploaded lineups. Lineups weren't showing up, but they were showing up on the site on my computer, but were not showing up on my phone. So it's super weird. DK, of course, I mean, I'm not a DK spokesperson, but shout out to them. I will give credit where credit's due. They did refund entries that were not entered, even though they were. Make sure if that ever happens to you guys, make sure you take video evidence of that so you can send that to them and show them that you're not like you didn't forget or anything stupid of that nature. Literally, this was an on them ordeal. For some reason, the lineups weren't showing through on their end. Of course, mine were fine. Triple checked them, deleted, re-uploaded several times, and still couldn't get them through. But shout out to DK for coming through on their word. So that's awesome. So yeah, I'll keep rocking with DK. FanDuel is a great secondary option. I don't play FanDuel enough to really understand, different scoring structures, right? It's weird. It's a different jump, right? It's a different ball game over there, lower scoring. So I really don't play much FanDuel, if any. I might play a few lineups a year if they got a good deal going on. But other than that, I don't really play a lot of FanDuel. I prefer DK. I like their interface and their tournaments and satellites and different things of that nature. I really enjoy the DK experience. So I'm not sponsored by DK, but DK, if you're listening, yeah, go and give me a code. That'd be cool. But nonetheless, let's jump into week 4. We have some games this week. I guess we'll pull up domination. Let's see here. Let me remove this. Add to stage. Stop the screen. Yeah, let's see what we got going on this week. We'll go through some captains and things of that nature that I like. I mean, not captains, still stuck on showdown mode. Some contrarian picks. I think will be contrarian. Of course, we won't know until ownership comes out and we'll get a better idea. Nothing's always final. So these are just around about what they could be at. So, and they're usually pretty close. From my observation, DFS Army is, one of the best at projecting out ownerships, and I think that's very crucial, especially if you're a GPP player such as myself. You can find different windows to get leverage on, and that's a really cool feature. So, from my experience, and I've played a lot of lineups and a lot of slates, they've always been, almost right on, so or around about that area, which is a good tool to have. And I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that, but I was just letting you guys know if you want a good optimizer for a good price. DFS Army is one of those spots. I would recommend them because that's what I use. So I like it. It's cheap enough for me. Of course, would vary to others, but if you can afford it, definitely do it. If you want to take it to the next level, right? If you want to really play DFS seriously, definitely want to have an optimizer. Yeah, so we'll jump into this week. Fun spots. What do we got? A lot of high totals. We have Saints at Buffalo, 47.5. Indianapolis and LA Rams at 49.5. Raiders and Bears again at 48.5. I really like this game. This Kansas City and Baltimore game is also very interesting to me. Baltimore the 25 total. I think they're the high. No, Rams are the highest on the slate. No, Buffalo's. Okay, Buffalo's the highest projected team points, along with Lions in second, and third is LA Rams. So want to get into some spots there. Buffalo, I don't know. I don't know how this is going to shake out. If Josh Allen is super low owned, like of course, I'll play it. But at 7,700, pricing is getting, we're around that season where these pricing structures are definitely tighter. So you're going to have to learn, you're going to have to build different. Get different in certain areas. But one thing I've noticed a lot, just from different DFS slates I've played, but this year, of course, it's a small sample size, so you can't take it to heart. But running back is a pretty good spot in the flex. So just want to throw that out there. If you guys ever have your running backs in your slates, especially high scores, perfectly viable in the flex. No CD Lamb on this slate. Who else is really no high ticket? We got Puka, St. Brown, Nico. Those would be the three, of course. Give or take some. Roma Dunze's priced crazy this week at 6,300. I don't know if he'll get there but at 6,300, I still think that's him priced fairly. Like that's where he should have been to start with. Knew that about 2 weeks ago. Severely underpriced. I think it was at 47 or 46 at one point this year. But definitely priced up this week. So, going to be tougher to get there. But Puka coming in at 7,900, like the work usage is there, right? But if he doesn't score, Puka doesn't get you there most weeks. Last week, Nico had a really good game. They all kind of scored the same last week, other than Trey Tucker. Absolutely abysmal. Still can't believe it. But if Mike Evans goes this week, he's at 6,600, 200 less than Ibuka. I don't know if I like Ibuka there at 68. Like that's high for me. For Ibuka, I liked him around the 6K range. I faded him early on, but I think he's at a decent price. But it's still it's a lot to pay up. If Evans is out, of course, I love it. But if Evans is in, Ibuka at 68 could be scary. Lad McConkey showing up 65. What about the Jackson Dart start there? What's that total that game? 44. Wow. Okay. Yeah, Jackson Dart starting and he's at 4,500. We're not going to get there yet, but Malik Neighbors is in play at 7K. I don't love it. I didn't like it. Well, it was a showdown. It didn't matter, but I didn't like it on the showdown. Malik Neighbors is one of those players that has to get the target volume to get there. He's not breaking away. It doesn't seem like to me. He's not breaking a 60-yarder. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's his wheel range. He's definitely a red zone threat if they get it to the red zone. Against this Chargers D, I don't know how that pans out. But Jackson Dart's interesting with Neighbors. He's definitely in play. If we were to play this a little differently, you would say, like, throw in Wandale at 5K. Like, yeah, well, I get Wandale's at 5K. He's the only player at slate at 5K. Jerry Jeudy at 49 is interesting. I don't know if I'll get there. That offense was terrible. Yeah, so the pay up options are kind of minimal this week. So I don't know if I'll be paying up at wide receiver. St. Brown will be interesting. I want to see his ownership at 7,300, but that defense is so good, man. I don't know what to do there. I don't know if you just avoid that game as a whole. It's still kind of a high total, right? Yeah, 44.5. So that's not terrible. 26 implied team total. So definitely they could get there for sure. I like that Rams against the Colts a little bit better. Devontae Adams, I love him every week at 6,200. He should have absolutely murdered that slate last week. He should have had 2 touchdowns and like 115, 120 yards. Could have absolutely set that slate on fire. I had so much Devontae Adams, and I'm so angry about it. But You live and you learn. Devontae's definitely a touchdown gotta have it guy because he's not breaking loose. So Devontae Adams, of course, I love him at 6,200. These are kind of my first impressions. AJ Brown, I liked him last week, 6,400. He's priced up $100 more this week, so not that big of a bump, which is kind of weird. Maybe I don't know. I think I like Saquon in that game. We'll get there when we get to running backs. Who else do we like here? Tator McMillions, of course, at 5,900. He'll probably pull low ownership. Drake London's interesting at 57. He's priced down a lot. Depending what Bijan comes on, definitely good leverage spot there against Washington. Pearsall, I don't know. I feel like this is the week that this 49ers team absolutely takes the high road because this train's been waiting to come off the tracks, and I think it does this week. So I might be getting away from this San Francisco hype. Well, not really hype, but that they're a legit team, and they're not. Mac Jones is still their quarterback. Yeah, wasn't a fan of Mac Jones last week. Wasn't a fan of Jones the week before. He done awesome, but that's neither here or there. I'm still not a fan of Mac Jones. I don't think he's an NFL quarterback. And of course, he's probably going to be super low owned and might murder me, but I don't like him as a quarterback. I don't think he's good. QJ at 5,500. For some reason, they keep mispricing him, and I'll keep playing him every week. He was in the player pool last week at 5,400. This week he's 55, went up $100 more. He could have had a monster game. He missed a wide open touchdown that Herbert overthrew him on. Definitely could have broke a slate there wide open too. Had a lot of QJ at 5,500. Romeo Dobbs, I had a lot of him too, and he didn't do nothing. I don't know if we'll go back there, but it doesn't matter because he's on this Sunday night slate. So we'll figure that out when showdown comes around. Devontae Smith, another player that's severely underpriced at 5,400. They keep mispricing him and AJ Brown. Devontae Smith should be at 6K. That's where he should be. Last week, actually, he showed it. They still can throw the ball. Don't get that mistaken. Devontae Smith's still a wide receiver one in the NFL. So is AJ Brown. I like that offense. I think they've seen a lot of touchdown regression so far, but I think they could really open it up against this Buccaneers defense, who's not the greatest. Yeah, I like the Eagles plays this week. Like I said, I like somebody that sticks out a lot to me right now. Devontae Smith at $5,400. That's a good spot. Olave, I don't like Olave, but he's getting so many targets. He's bound to get you there one week. We know what he can do if he gets a touchdown, but he's got to get the touchdown. And I don't know if this offense has enough power to even get it there. Maybe on a broken play or busted coverage, that could happen, but I don't see that happening. Really, but I don't know. We'll see what his ownership is. If he's low owned, I'll like him a lot more. Wandale's in play at 5K. I like him better than Neighbors this week with Jackson Dart. Maybe a lot of underneath stuff with Wandale. Ridley, 49, no. Bateman's a no for me. Judy's a no. Yes, maybe. Darnell Mooney, loved him last week. He did okay. He actually should have had a little bit better game than what the scoreboard showed. I think he had like 8 fantasy points, but I was projecting him around 13. So a couple more plays from there and not terrible offensive play. The game could have shot out, but absolutely Michael Penix may be the worst quarterback in the league. He might be worse than Mac Jones right now. I'll say it first. I know he's young. Sorry, Brave Bird, but I don't know about your Falcons. I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of offensive production from him. Most of that offense is running through Algier and Bijan, and the kicker. But he is definitely in play. Where's he at? Darnell Mooney, of course, in play for me. Again, I like him every week. Just one of those times when he pops for 20 or 30, I want to be on it. Luther Burden, yeah, okay. You've seen a lot more introduction to him last week. I know the coach speak was talking him up. Wasn't on him too much, but I had some exposure, so he did good. I think he had around 18 or 20. Luther Burden's a good place week at 4,700. That Raiders defense is not good at all. D-Hop at 45, okay. And some stabs you can get there. Alec Pierce, it seems like they like him in deep ball, but I think he'll be out with a concussion. He should be at least. Kayshon Boudy's a no. Here's the Chiefs. Trey Tucker at 42. Dyami Brown's interesting at 41. Seems like Lawrence likes him a lot. I don't like Lawrence, but I do like Dyami Brown. I call him Dynamic Brown because he's a very dynamic player. He can run it. He can catch it. At 4,100, I like my odds there. I like him better on anytime touchdown bet, but I do think he's playable on this slate. Josh Downs playable too at 4,100. Not seeing what we used to see from him last year with Flacco under the helm, but I think some regressions coming Pittman's way, and they're going to get Downs involved more. If you remember, he was hurt to start the year, so maybe he's still coming back from that injury, not completely. But one of my favorite plays this week is Tyquan Thornton at 4K. Very interesting play. I love him. I had him last week in the showdowns, and the week before that on the main slate. So 2 touchdowns in 2 weeks for him. Should have had 3 because he should have one the other night. Tyquan Thornton's in play at 4K. He'll be low owned, GPP type of play, but I like him, especially in that game environment. Like Imanor, no, I really don't want to play against this Houston defense. I don't think if the Titans can sustain anything there. Dante Thornton's fun off of the Trey Tucker hype, I guess, that you'll see this week. He'll be low owned. Big receiver, definitely red zone threat. Pop Douglas, no. Renfro, no. Renfro's maybe at 38. It's not terrible play. He could project decently. Yeah, 9. Okay, so Renfro seems a little bit underpriced here at 38. You really need a touchdown, maybe 2 from him, depending on how the play plays out. But I don't hate it. Darius Big Play Slay, 37. He's okay. He's in play. Anybody's in play with Jackson Dart. We don't know how this thing's going to shake out. So if you want to take stabs there, I really don't hate it at 3,700. Zacchaeus, not really. They were seeming to use Burden more. They were Zacchaeus. Tesla, no. Jahan Dotson, and some dart throws, maybe. Won't have much of him, though. McCaffrey's a no for me. Yeah, nobody really else really sticks out there. Yeah, I don't really find anybody else other than Tyquan Thornton down in that range. Juju's interesting too at 38. Should see some targets. Don't mind that play at all. What else? Let's go ahead and go to running back. We'll go over some favorite plays there and some quarterback, and that's all. Tight end, and then that's all. Defense, not really. It's a dart throw, like I said, it was last week. If you're on them, you're on them. If you're not, you're not. That's the lottery part of this thing. When the defense goes off for 30, not much you can do. Okay, so we have CMC, the highest priced at 8,500. No, it's a no for me, guys. I'll pivot to a Bijan against a worse defense. Both of them are home, so that makes things a little interesting. Jahmyr Gibbs in the dome at 77. It's fine. I'll be getting there for sure. Saquon getting there for sure. JT getting there for sure. Derrick Henry getting there for sure. So I like Bijan, Jahmyr, Saquon, Taylor, Henry as the spin ups. If you're wanting a little bit less salary reduction instead of Cook, I like Bucky Irving in a pretty good spot there at 6,900. Definitely wouldn't play him in Saquon. Maybe you could, depending what happens with the Mike Evans situation shakes out. If he's in, Bucky's a little less interesting, but still nonetheless, Bucky's interesting to me at 6,900. Kyron at home against the Colts. The Colts defense is actually looking pretty good. So, I mean, you could in a sense, but I don't love it. Genty, I know a lot of people are going to be like, this is the last week he has to get it done. Who knows what will happen with Genty? I'm not on this train. I wasn't on it any coming up this year in the draft. Still don't think it's a great play. I don't like him at 62. Of course, he could pop and kill me, but I won't be getting there. I like the offensive side of the ball. I mean, the receiver room and the tight ends in that game a lot better, along with Geno. So, yeah, it's definitely in play. Kamara is decent at 6,100. You're looking at some target volume in a negative game script. Of course, Kamara can pop for 2. He's a little bit older now, but I don't mind the play at 6,100. As that second tier type of player. Hampton, okay. I don't like playing against this New York Giants front. I think they have a really good run defense, so won't be getting there a lot. ETN, you can make a case there. Everyone was on ETN like the first 3 weeks. Now they're off of him. I don't mind him this week though at $5,800. It's definitely a play. Montgomery's a no. I know he smashed last night. I just don't think this is his game. Tony Pollard, okay, at 5,600. It's not terrible. I just don't really like it. Judkins is in play for me at 5,500. I think that's a good spin down. We've seen what his production can do when he gets the ball. So a really good running back there. On the road, don't really like taking road running backs, but not terrible. Scatterboo, those guys are definitely dart throwers at 5,500. I just don't think you have to get down there this week. If you wanted to say make a case for Swift, I could get down with that. Everyone else down here, though, I'm not playing Stevenson again. They just keep fumbling the ball. Stevenson could have been a really good play last week, but he's just not a good talent, I don't think. They're running back in New England. Tracy will probably be out. Pacheco is interesting at 5K. We just seen what happened to that Baltimore run defense. So we'll see what Amanda BK is, his status on that defensive line. If he's out, I really like Pacheco. I know I keep going there on some showdown slates, and it keeps biting me in the butt. But Pacheco can absolutely pop for like 2 touchdowns. And we haven't seen it yet, so I'm just kind of itching for it. But Pacheco, if you want to spend down at 5K, I don't hate it. So nobody else really down here. By Shal Tootin, possibly. If you don't like ETN as much. Other than that, nobody else. So yeah, they'll do that. QBs, I'd say the highest owned on this slate will probably be, I would say, maybe Caleb Williams again. At $5,800, I still think he's kind of low price, so I don't hate it. But Daniel Jones is interesting there at 56. I like Daniel Jones looking at this first. Lamar in a revenge game, you got something to prove there. So at Kansas City, you could see Lamar getting there at 7,500. He can wreck a slate with a 40 burger. It's happened to me several times. So I want to get some exposure there. Jared Goff, if you don't think that they can run the ball, they're going to have to throw it. So if you like Jared Goff this week, and I'll let you guys know as ownership comes in and we get a better idea how this slate plays out. But Jared Goff could be one of those guys this week for me, again, with a St. Brown stack or a JMO stack or an onslaught, however you want to play it. Fine by me. Pat Mahomes, he's running a lot more, which is interesting. So his touchdown equity is kind of going up for me in a game that they could be losing here. So Ravens or Pat Mahomes. I like Lamar a little bit better than like Mahomes. But nonetheless, this Kansas City's team is not good. We've seen this repetitively. No playmakers, no offensive line. I like to. I don't know if I like Mahomes in that sense. Maybe if you think some miracle Mahomes stuff happens, but he hasn't been there in so long. He scores like 20 fantasy points. Good cash game quarterback, I guess, if you want to spend up. But other than that, I don't really want to get there with Mahomes. Stafford's interesting in a game that could shoot out there at 5,900. Jones always in play now. I think I don't know if I don't know how to play it because like I'm so out on this guy. Like I'm so tired of Daniel Jones, but he just keeps getting there, man. Every milli maker like I feel like I see is a Daniel Jones lineup. So Daniel Jones, he's in play for me at 56. Just too cheap for me, I think, with his touchdown equity at that goal line there. So if you like leverage off of JT, you could play a Daniel Jones. If you want to get weird, you might could play them both. Maybe you think he gets 2 receiving or something like that. That would be crazy, but Daniel Jones in play at 56. May, okay. It's just a mad play again. Gino, I like this game a lot again. I like Gino, 5,400. He's went up $200 more. Good price there on Gino at 54. He should be around that 57 range, 58 range. CJ Stroud, it's okay. If you want to Nico stack it, fine. Lawrence, no. Mac Jones, no. Penix, probably not. Russell Wilson's not starting. Mariota, if he plays, it's not as great at 5K. He's got to do a little bit more against a pretty good. I don't know if they're good. We don't know yet about the Falcons, so we'll figure that out as time plays on and if they're legit or not. But Mariota's probably a no for me too. Spencer Rattler, I played him last week. A million maker type stuff, $4,700. I would probably go to Dart before I would him against Buffalo at home, but hey, anything can happen. I think Dart's at 4,500, so that'll do those. We talked running back. My favorite running back on the slate's probably Saquon at 76 for a spend up. Secondary guy in this range, probably Judkins or ETN. I like ETN at 5,800. I think that's a good price tag on him. No Nick Bosa on that defense, so probably are going to run the ball a lot. So look forward to that. Trevor Lawrence can't throw it, so they're probably going to run ETN. So I don't mind ETN at 5,800, so that's not terrible. Defense doesn't matter. Like I said, it's a lottery ticket. Go ahead and roll your dice. Whichever you want to land on is fine. The Rams look okay at 2,900, whatever. Defense is just, it's so ridiculous to pick. Colts, if that game shoots out, maybe you think a defense gets a touchdown there. Who knows? I'd probably play the Colts side more than I would LA side, price adjusted, but nothing really else. Browns, okay, at 2,200, absolute punt. Not terrible. Really good defense. So if you think the game's lower scoring and you'll get some leverage over some people and don't play St. Brown or Goff, then you could play a Browns, or you could run it back with Browns against Golf. Either one's fine. That didn't really make a lot of sense, but whatever. What do we have else? That's really about it. Jacksonville. I like playing Jacksonville every week. Jags against Mac Jones. Okay. So maybe you play a little Jags and ETN stack. I think that could be pretty. So that's kind of my first look this week. We'll have your 5 for 5 under coming out, I think either Thursday or whenever we get some ownership here. We'll kind of dive into that a little more. Thank you guys for all the support. It's really been awesome. I really enjoy doing this. So hopefully you guys enjoy watching these videos. If you have any comments or any questions or I can answer in the comment section, go ahead and leave us a like and subscribe to the show. We'll be live Sunday morning early because we have some plans that afternoon. So we're gonna have to go early, boys. So probably around 8, I could be live for an hour and a half to 2 hours. If you guys would like to join up, or if anybody wants to come in and talk, I'll hopefully get the StreamYard. I'm going to call them tonight and get this figured out, why I can't stream to YouTube. So hopefully we'll have the StreamYard link up so you guys can join in and we can go over some things together. With that being said, that's it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. We'll catch you guys on the next one, and good luck this Sunday. Peace.